We have to move straight on to Lolou, Kini from Caroline Chisholm and Dr. Bengianni, Halil-Pizzirani from Impact Initiative. Dr. Lolou is the acting CEO of Caroline Chisholm and has over 20 years of experience working across federal, state and local government in Australia and New Zealand, as well as the corporate and not-for-profit sector. And Dr. Bengianni, Halil-Pizzirani, is the Director of Research and Evaluation at Impact Initiative, and he has a background in developmental social psychology and behavioural statistics and has worked across the health, community and social care settings. Over to you guys.
You'll have to bear with me 1 second as I share the screen. Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here and good afternoon. I have the pleasure of presenting alongside Lolou Kini today. Before we get into it, I'd like to say a big thank you to Mandy, Sarah, and the rest of the Open Network as a sponsor of this event. I just think it's fantastic. It's great to be presenting, and I look forward to seeing all of the other presentations today and tomorrow. Today, we're going to be discussing a recent evaluation of the Caroline Chisholm Society's maternal wraparound services in the Goulburn Valley, in and around Shepparton, highlighting not only the significant impacts of their work with vulnerable families, but how much more needs to be done in this space. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. We honour your ongoing connection to land, water and culture and recognise that sovereignty was never ceded. Before diving in, we wanted to first provide a bit of background into our organisations, just for some context. So the Impact Initiative, we collaborate with organisations across a variety of sectors to improve service delivery through evidence-based evaluations and research. Our focus is on providing practical, scalable solutions tailored to the specific needs of our clients. We're committed to co-designing and implementing programs that drive measurable, sustainable outcomes. I'll now hand over to Lolou to talk about Caroline Chisholm in a bit more depth, and then I'll be back to chat about some results.
Thank you, Dr. Bengianni, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lolou Kini from the Caroline Chisholm Society. A little bit about the Caroline Chisholm Society. We've been in operations across Victoria for the last 55 years, delivering key essential support for pregnancy throughout the early years of a child's life. Our mission is to really strengthen that bond and attachment between mothers, children, and ensure that our families are equipped with a safe environment that supports them during the critical early development stages of a child's life. Our key services is a wraparound support model or holistic support model where we address complex needs of families such as homelessness, family violence and mental health challenges. We also have a service delivery model that combines both home visitation, so an outreach model, as well as provision for essential baby and maternity goods. So we call that our material aid. We also have our qualified and experienced practitioners that do system navigation with our families, and that's to help alleviate any financial stress and also promote maternal and child wellbeing. Our geographic reach is across Western Melbourne, so Western Melbourne, Bringback Melton, as well as the Goulburn Valley, and we adapt our services to meet the evolving needs of our local communities. So our wraparound maternal service support in Goulburn Valley, we focus on supporting women with children and expectant mothers through our maternal wraparound support. Really focusing on that first 1,000 days, that critical period for a child's health and growth and their neurodevelopment. We engaged Impact Initiative to evaluate our operations in the Goulburn Valley in the last 3 years from 2021 to 2024, because we felt that it was important to highlight the work that was being done, not only with early parenting, but also the evidence-based programs that our practitioners run, for example, Bringing Up Great Kids, And these evidence-based programs initiate a fostering of responsive and mindful parenting, as well as that aim to create this secure attachment and positively influence a child's development and their long-term well-being. We also have the material aid program in Goulburn Valley, which acts as an early help pathway to meet immediate needs for families. Usually when they come in, they are not just given a material aid, they have a single session or brief consult with one of our practitioners so that they can assess their broader needs and connect to further services. So our Shepparton story, we've been in for nearly 5 decades. Since 1978, the Goulburn Valley Caroline Chisholm Society has been providing free and confidential support to our families from the ages of 0 to 5 under 6. Our annual reach is over 600 women and families engaged with the society every year, and that usually starts with an inquiry for material aid or urgent support. Our comprehensive support includes that wraparound maternal support, which includes providing essential care packs, advocacy, as well as system navigation for specialist support so that our families receive a holistic care. The community impact we've evaluated or estimated to be about 200 to 300,000 per year. And that also includes our volunteer contributions. We have a very strong volunteer base in Goulburn Valley, some of whom have been volunteering for more than 41 years, as well as the material aid that we've been donated from the community. We wanted to highlight in this evaluation the policy context or impact of unborn child reports. So under the Child, Youth and Family Act, Child Protection Services can file an unborn child report to assess risk, offer advice, as well as connect expectant mothers to support services. We see this is potentially a missed opportunity. Before birth is often that critical but often underutilized window for prevention and early intervention, which can later mitigate risks for things such as violence, exploitation, and homelessness. In Victoria, 2,000 women are at risk of having an unborn child report filed, and in Shepparton alone, approximately 60 women annually face this risk, which highlights the need for an early support in the region. The work that we're doing at Caroline Chisholm is that early intervention impact work, which really aims to divert at-risk women from child protection to ensure that our mothers are safe, and the safety and well-being of mother and child is paramount. As this was a mixed methods research, we also spoke to some of our families. This is a story highlighting Leah's case. She was referred to the society at 21 weeks pregnant and was also caring for her 4-year-old son who was facing child protection involvement and homelessness. The advocacy that we provided was to successfully advocate for Leah to retain custody of her unborn child and establish ensuring a family stability post-birth. But this was achieved through a multidisciplinary approach, and it was led by the society as well as other key essential support systems for Leah. And the goal, the outcome was Leah was able to set a goal to connect with local community networks, including early childhood programs and parenting activities. So really stabilizing her family's future, which is an awesome outcome. I'll now pass back to Dr. Bengianni to talk about the evaluation purpose and methodology.
Thanks, Lolou. So as you've seen from Leah's story, the Caroline Chisholm Society's approach to supporting families in vulnerable situations can have a profound impact on individual lives. And I think this actually serves as a rather poignant reminder that as we present the findings of this evaluation, it's paramount to acknowledge that each data point and statistic represents a personal story, a mother, child, or family courageously navigating what are really profound challenges. So indeed, and as Lolou mentioned, to better understand these narratives of resilience and perseverance and how their interventions work on a broader scale, the Society engaged us to conduct a comprehensive evaluation of its services. The current evaluation we're presenting on today is part of a broader or larger effort aimed at understanding not only the impact of the Society's initiatives, but also identifying areas for improvement. So our methodology, of which I'm not going to go into too much detail, as you can read all about it in the full report available on our website, it combined quantitative data from service delivery and administrative data, such as the outcomes with qualitative feedback from focus groups and interviews with practitioners and volunteers, so a mixed method approach. The data collected spanned 3 years and focused on measuring the effectiveness of the Society's maternal wraparound services in improving those maternal and child outcomes. Over that 3-year evaluation period, you can see here the Society supported 1,528 clients. Of those, 60% were born in Australia, while 40% were born overseas, representing countries such as Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. Additionally, 16% of clients identified as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. The age distribution showed most clients, 44%, were aged between 26 and 35, with another 38% aged 18 to 25, reflecting the diversity of the client base. In terms of how those numbers that we just saw are reflected from the qualitative insights we gathered through the focus groups and interviews, there were 2 key themes that emerged that align closely with those demographic statistics. One, universal support. Volunteers and practitioners consistently emphasised the importance of inclusivity in service delivery, and cultural sensitivity. So staff demonstrated a strong awareness of the unique challenges faced by Indigenous communities, migrants, and refugees. And this cultural sensitivity was crucial in building trust and delivering services that truly meet the needs of clients. As one volunteer captured in this sentiment, I think, well, by saying, at CCS, we help anyone who needs it, no matter their gender, age, or anything. Everyone deserves support. The evaluation found that 75% of clients initially accessed the Society's services through material aid. Lolou has mentioned how important that service is, while about 25% received ongoing support through integrated family services. As you can see there, self-referrals accounted for the largest proportion of both material aid clients, that is, primary clients requesting material aid and then being scheduled for a single session brief consult, and the IFs. And I think, again, these numbers demonstrate the high visibility and accessibility of the Society services in the Goulburn Valley. Over the 3 years, more than $250,000 worth of material aid was distributed, including clothing and essential items, diverting 30,000 kilos of goods from landfill. Those are huge numbers for a small org. Additionally, volunteers contributed 5,000 hours, highlighting the community's involvement in the Society's efforts, and it really is embedded within the Society. How these numbers align with the qualitative findings. So again, in terms of convergence, one key theme that emerged from the qualitative data was accessibility. The Caroline Chisholm Society's no referral, no waitlist policy ensures that clients can access support immediately when they need it. And this approach is obviously crucial in providing timely assistance, preventing crisis, and allowing interventions to occur when they are most effective. As one practitioner put it, one of the best things about us is that there's no more referral needed and no wait list. Families can get help as soon as they need it. We now turn our attention to the families receiving specialist services during that time period in the Goulburn Valley. The 25% of clients that is engaged in IFs. So the average case length for primary clients that received an evidence-based program, in this case, Bringing Up Great Kids, the first 1,000 days, stands at approximately 183 days, though it varied significantly. You can see there on the right, ranging from 40 to 490 days, depending on complexity of the family's needs. This variability, again, I think shows the Society's ability to adapt its services to each family's unique circumstances, providing tailored support when it's most needed. I think flexibility and the durability of duration are 2 things that are really popping out to us as we've been writing up this report. Again, still focusing in on those clients receiving IFs, 66% of clients were pregnant, highlighting the importance of integrated family services in addressing prenatal and maternal health concerns. I think a big one here, 20% of cases involved an unborn child protection report, again, emphasising the critical need for early intervention and monitoring. 20% of cases raise significant concerns for the well-being of the children or unborn child, signalling the need for intensified support. And 25% of cases were listed as unborn referrals, reinforcing the Society's targeted approach to supporting expectant mothers and their unborn children. So data from the Outcome Star tool, most will probably be familiar with this, for new mothers, showed significant improvements across key domains. Moderate improvements, so the most notable improvements were seen in looking after your baby, safety and stability, life skills, and health and well-being. Steady performance in other domains, such as your baby's development and connecting with your baby, maintained steady scores throughout the program. And looking at these numbers, and I suppose changes over time, I think the overall pattern of no score decreases and notable improvements in critical areas reflects really well on the first 1,000 days program. Suggests that the approach's emphasis on warm, responsive, and supportive parenting is successfully imparting skills that strengthen attachments and subsequently children's development. And finally, for me, how these numbers again align with the qualitative findings. The qualitative data also highlighted themes of empowerment and self-efficacy. As mothers gained confidence in their parenting skills through the Society's programs, they became more proactive in seeking and applying new knowledge. This cycle of empowerment not only improved immediate outcomes, but also sets the foundation for long-term family stability. Practitioners and volunteers consistently noted that as mothers felt more capable, their ability to maintain and build upon the progress made during the intervention significantly improved. I'm sure that's something that echoes throughout a lot of the work that people do in the audience. As one practitioner noted, mothers have shared about how much more capable they feel. It can be a significant transformation. Back over to you, Lolou.
Thanks, Dr. Bengianni. So the interpretation of the findings, we found 4 key interpretations. One was the reach and service accessibility of Caroline Chisholm, and the evaluation really underscored the success in inclusively addressing the evolving needs of the Goulburn Valley, especially with the diverse demographic profile of the Society's clients, including Indigenous and immigrant populations. The second was the service delivery effectiveness, as highlighted by Dr. Bengianni. There was key improvements in the domains from the Outcome Star, which demonstrated the effectiveness of our evidence-based programs, such as Bringing Up Great Kids, the first 1,000 days program, which really empowers our mothers to enhance their parenting skills and build that stable, nurturing environment. The third was community and environmental impact. Our material aid program not only meets the needs of our families, but also on a broader environmental benefit. The diversion of these material aid from landfill was enormous impact in the community. And the fourth was proactive prevention of traumatic intervention, so that the unborn child reports and the early intervention of the Society to try and mitigate some of those issues so that there's less risk of unborn child reports to child protection really demonstrates the Society's role, playing a key role in reducing the risk of newborn removals and keeping our families together. So in conclusion, the Caroline Chisholm Society has been playing a pivotal role in supporting mothers, children and families across diverse demographics, and a strong commitment to inclusivity. And as shown in the evaluation, with 1,500 clients supported in 3 years, we've really addressed some complex issues effectively, such as homelessness, family violence, and mental health, as well as successfully diverting at-risk families from the child protection system. And finally, our sustained investment and adaptive policy support has been essential to continue meeting the evolving needs of the Goulburn Valley community. And the full report is available through this QR code. I'd like to finally end by acknowledging all the support that Impact Initiative has provided in doing this evaluation, as well as our team up in Goulburn Valley, and thank you for allowing us to demonstrate and deliver this presentation on the impact.
A really powerful description of what I know is really significant and long-term work you've been doing in this space. So congratulations on a great report. and great insights. We have had a few questions, of course, as we tend to. I also might add right then and there, how powerful is a good evaluation? And I really appreciate you modelling that, because I do think this is where our organisations can take the reins themselves, alongside, some supportive critical friends. So
Totally agree.
really think that's great. So thank you. We have had a very specific question. Is there a working relationship between Caroline Chisholm with community-based child protection in the unborn report space? Understanding referrals require consent. Are we assuming the referrals aren't being offered or they aren't being given consent?
Lolou, I might throw to you for this
Yes,
sort of
yep,
service.
that's great. We do have a working relationship, a very good working relationship with child protection in the Goulburn Valley area. And what we do is try and work with them before the unborn child referral is made. So talking with the families to see if there's any ways that we can mitigate that referral being made in the first place. So that's where I think our real value comes in with the early intervention, is working with that mum during pregnancy to see what are the protective factors that we can put around her so that there is no unborn child report, because most of the women that we've seen come through are at risk of unborn child reports. So we're trying to really hone in on that early intervention to make sure she's got the protective factors before that report is made to child protection. But it means that we do have to have a very good working relationship with child protection in Goulburn Valley.
Yeah, it's a good question. And this comes in light of recent whistleblower reports that you can find online if you simply Google some of this stuff. The harsh reality, I think, is that mothers, often without warning, can face the immediate separation from their newborns due to these child protection concerns. So this is why it's so important services like Caroline Chisholm are working closely with child protection.
I suppose just in sort of wrapping up and bringing the detail together, clearly there's a really positive impact, and that was shown in your evaluation, I suppose. And you sort of referred to this, but if you were to capture in a nutshell what you think the key enablers of this intervention success are, what are the critical success factors? What would you sum up as the most significant in terms of delivering to this cohort, which I understand is high multicultural cohort as well?
I might take the reins because I've probably only got a short answer being the evaluator, and then I'll throw to Lolou for the expert answer. But I think for me, like you just tapped into, Mandy, accessibility and inclusivity. And I think what we're seeing, two other things, the impact of early intervention. And I know we've been sort of screaming from the rooftops in this sector for a while, but this is just another example. And empowerment and self-efficacy, those two themes that we spoke about briefly, echoed throughout the evaluation.
And I'd just add by saying it's that wraparound support. So for us, the material aid really adds as a doorway to understand our families better, even before engaging with the services. So when they come in for material aid, it's that early help pathway. And that's when we can unpack things that need to be unpacked. So having that material aid, and then also the qualifications and experience of our practitioners, and then adding on evidence-based training. I think that whole wraparound support really works in and is successful for what we've seen up in Goulburn Valley and across our Melbourne practice as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to, being the evaluator myself, I have to ask, what were the challenges or things you took away that you've learned over the course of delivering on this service? What would you comment were things that you could share with others to ensure they don't sort of, they learn from your experience?
Is that relevant to the evaluation or to the service delivery? Sorry.
Either. Yeah, I wasn't.
I'll let you go, and I'll then see if we've got any time left, because Mandy knows I'll talk forever on this stuff.
Well, I think, sorry, Mandy, what was the crux of the question again? It
I
was,
suppose part of an evaluative effort, but part of your ongoing, I know, reflective practice in Caroline Chisholm
yes.
would be looking at and constantly improving. And so I suppose I was interested in your reflections on any challenges that you've faced in delivering the service and what learnings you've taken away from that and how you've improved.
I think that the challenge would be to continue highlighting on a policy level, like what are the levers that we can change for policy? For example, unborn child report, and just trying to push the different levers. So a policy context, and then as a not-for-profit, it's always the funding challenges as well. But yeah, I think those are the two main ones that I would say would be the challenges. But in terms of evaluation, I think evaluation is so critical for all our programs to be able to demonstrate not only to external funders, but also to demonstrate the impact of the work that we're doing internally. So I think evaluation needs to be maybe something that is across the board alliances or open could look at as something that we could have a dedicated evaluator that evaluates all our programs. Those are three things that I think, three challenges that need to be explored more.
Now, Bengianni, I'm just getting told off by Sarah here.
I knew we were going to
So,
I won't say, I'll leave it with Lolou. Yeah, leave it
give
with
your top
Lolou.
one thing. What top one thing?
In terms of challenges, I think for me, one thing I struggle with when we do this work is distinction between outputs and outcomes. So what I mean by that is, obviously the outputs being the sort of, let's say, hours logged, etc., versus the outcomes. There's a lot of rhetoric around separating those things. In fact, I think it's about looking at how you can combine those. So using the outputs or the demographic data as grouping variables to assess your outcomes. The problem is we never have enough statistical power to do those comparative analyses, and it's just always so disappointing not to be able to drill a bit deeper. So that would be mine.
And that's what we're working towards, Bengianni,
Yes,
go
yep.
forward in partnership with our great organisations. Thank you very much. Great reflection. Love to see it. Caroline Chisholm, yay to you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.